So neurons can be divided into three. So there are three types of neurons. The first one is the sensory neuron, the second one is the motor neuron, and the third one is the relay neuron or associated neuron. We call it sometimes as a mixed neuron. So when you see the first one, the sensory neurons, as the name indicate, they are the one which receive signals from the sense organ. So we call it that. Because of that, we call them sensory neurons. So these sensory neurons carry these electrical impulse towards to the central nervous system, and after the central nervous system process the information, and the motor neuron take the response towards to the effector organ. And the third one is the interneuron. These interneurons are called relay neuron, associated neuron. These are only found in the central nervous system. They connect the sensory neuron within that of the motor neuron, so they are found in between two. And again, if you see their structure, those three types of neurons are different in their size and their shape, but they have a common feature, which is they have a cell body. They contain nucleus. They have a mitochondria and other organs also. So those three types of neurons, they also contain the major parts of the neurons. So when you see the parts of the neuron, or the structure of the neuron, there is a dendrite, which is tree-like branches of the nervous cell body. From the nervous cell body, they receive signals from the other nervous cells at the synapse. And as you see, synapses are the gap that are found between neurons. So through the chemical that release our body, the signals are just across these gaps. So we call that chemicals as neurotransmitters. The other part of the neurons is the longer process from the nervous cells. We call it axon. They carry the nerve impulses, and the axons are many of the axons are just enclosed or covered by what you call it myelin sheaths, which is insulator. So it allows the nerve to pass or to travel quickly, just as fast as possible. And the other one is neurons are, as you know, they can conduct electricity because of the structure of the axon. The axon's membrane changes its permeability to sodium ion to create the electrical impulses. When the nerves are transferring this electrical impulse, there is an exchange of ions, there is exchange of charges. That means the positive ion enter into the axon, whereas the negative ion goes to outside. So there is exchange of ions. Because of that, the electrical impulse can just pass. How the nervous system works? This is a very easy question. Once the changes are occurred in the environment, that means once stimulants picked up by the sensory receptors, the information is passed along the special nerves called the sensory neuron. Those sensory neurons pass the signals to the central nervous system. The central nervous system are made of the brain and the spinal cord. So once the information is just processed in the central nervous system, the instructions are sent out of the body along the more neurons. These neurons are called the effector neurons. This effector neuron stimulate the effector organ, usually muscles and the gland. So in short, the other one is the nerve systems depend on the nerve impulses. So each nerve impulse is a mini electrical event that is the result of charge difference across the membranes of the axon. So the wave of positive charge in the axon when the neurons are stimulated are called the action potential. So this is the action potential site where the positive charge enters into the axon and the negative charge goes to outside and exchange ions. So this is totally, we call these kinds of neurons are dipolarized neuron. There is a signal, there is a transmissions of a message which is in the form of electrical impulses, and the opposite of this, when there is no exchange of signals, that means when the neurons are at rest, we call it the polarized neuron. So the action potential is the basis of all the electrical signals in the nervous system. So this action potential is a short-term change in the electrical potential on the